In 1954, a conference on the future of heavy tanks was held in Detroit. The Chrysler Corporation had a response for the problems they had with the T110E3's design, which was a power pack issue. The T110E4 was designed to help with these problems, but the project was later scrapped. The T110E4 has had its ups and downs in the World of Tanks community, mostly the lack of gun depression and the weak commander's hatch. Compared to the T110E3, the T110E4's hatch has been one of its most major downfalls. The T110E3 lacks a fully rotating turret, where the T110E4 was equipped with a rotating turret of 180 degrees. This has made many enemy tanks think twice about attacking the T110E4 from the side. The T110E4 was a response to the problems in the T110E3. But is the T110E4 an answer to the problem, or just another metal carcass in the battlefield? What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Today we're going to be covering the T110E4. Now we finally got here, guys. We've worked really hard to get to this tank and it's finally here and I'm kind of in love. I'm really loving this tank. So as you guys heard at the beginning of the video, there's not a lot of history about this tank, to be honest with you. There's there are some books that were written about the different tanks and stuff like that of World War II and afterwards. But to be honest with you, the T110E4 is not mentioned very much. It was actually hard to find anything about this tank, and that's why I actually just brought up a lot of updates about, World of Tanks and how the T110E4 has had its up and downs. To be honest with you, the T110E4 was not supposed to be a rotating turret. It wasn't supposed to have a rotating turret on there. Of course, it's only 180 degrees that you could rotate, but it was supposed to actually be exactly the same as the T110E3, except a little bit of change on the hull design. So there were some problems with a some kind of pack on it. I didn't really research into the energy packs and stuff like that. But there was pretty much a problem with the tank, but it was supposed to be the same. And also, it wasn't supposed to have the big massive gun that we have on there. The 155, to be honest with you, they said realistically it probably wouldn't have been able to handle it the way it was. Or at least the way it's designed on the World of Tanks way that they designed it. So, and there were actually blueprints for Wargaming to go by, but I guess Wargaming wanted to make a turreted tank, so I'm not sure. I couldn't find too much of the reasoning why that they went with a a non-limited rotating turret. Well, I guess it is limited because it can go 180 degrees, but you know what I mean. It's not the T110E3. It's but anyways, so that's why we have the T110E4. Pretty much, I guess Wargaming just wanted to have something a little bit more for the American TD line, even though if you research a lot of this stuff, there actually are other tanks that Wargaming could have used to bring out another tier 10. I can't remember the names, but there's a lot of different tank destroyers that they could have brought out other than the T110E4. So, but let's go over this tank. The hit points on this thing is 2,000 hit points, a little less than I would like it. I would probably have liked 2,500 as a hit point for this tank destroyer because of some of the weak points on this tank. We've got a mouse that has over 3,000 or 3,000 hit points and stuff like that. I feel that this tank destroyer should have had about 2,500, 2,250, somewhere around there. The silver on this thing, of course, for most tier 10s is 6 mil, 100,000. The speed limit on this thing goes about 35 kilometers, so it does get up and go. It is pretty mobile, but it's not amazing. It's nothing like an AMX or anything like that, but it is better than the T110E3 to an extent. The whole armor on the front is 254 on the side, 76 and 38 on the rear. So you do have a decent amount of armor on the hull. Now, the armor on the turret is 203 on the front, 152 on the side, and 152 on the rear. So your whole, your turret armor is pretty decent with this thing. It's not terrible, but I would have liked the armor in the front of the turret to be at least like 230. That would have been nice to have, because for some reason, I mean, yes, this is a rotating turret on there, but as you're going to see when we start talking about the actual hit points, like the actual weak spots on this tank, that the commander's hatch is terrible on this thing. I mean, you could shoot there all day long and destroy this thing, where on the T110E4 looks exactly the same, except for the rotating turret, and it fucking, you bounce on it. So I'm kind of disappointed in this tank, and a lot of people are. As you heard in the beginning of this video, a lot of discussions have gone into this tank where, the turret depression is terrible on this thing. It really is terrible. But I'm fine with the turret depression because of it being a TD, and the way how short it is from the turret to the hull. I don't mind the turret depression the way it is, but I would have liked to have that hatch fixed. That's my pet peeve on there. The traverse speed on the turret is only 18 degrees a second, so you're gonna, if you get somebody on your side, you're gonna have to turn the entire tank to keep up with them, because the 18 degrees a second is not gonna allow you to catch up on some of those medium tanks, or even some of the heavy tanks. So you're gonna have to turn the entire tank with the turret at the same time. The view range on this is only 400 meters, which I'm fine with that because it doesn't have an open top like the Hellcat and stuff like that. So I that's understandable. The gun on here, like we said, is a 155. It does about 750 damage. Now, I say that, but to be honest with you, if you look at the consumables and stuff like that, which we'll go over, it states the damage is anywhere between 638 to 1063, and this is just the regular AP rounds, the standard rounds, with a penetration of 221 to 369, on random rolls and stuff like that. So it does a decent amount of damage with the regular rounds, and we're going to talk about what I use and why I use it when we get to that point. Now, this is a pretty nice tank. I do like this tank. I've taken it out a lot. To be honest with you, it's nice to see an E100 or, Jagd Panther E100 back away from you. It's funny to see that because, you could put a hurting on these guys, a couple hits and they're dead from you shooting them. It's nice to see those bigger tanks back away, where like in my IS-7, those guys are coming straight at me because they know I'm only going to do about 400 damage a hit, it's funny. So I love this tank in that sense. Other than like I said, the weak spot on the top, I think this is a excellent tank. I think everybody should get one because it's a lot of fun. Like I said, having that rotating turret can really screw up enemies trying to get on your sides and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. But remember, it is a tank destroyer. I would consider this kind of a heavy hitter. One of those assaulting tank destroyers, but you still have to be careful with it. I will assault if I need to with this, but majority of the time I do stay back a little bit and support. But I do try to push myself a little bit. I do go out there a little bit and take some shots on people. So anyways, let's take a look at all those weak spots that you guys want to know about. Alright guys, starting on the front of this tank real quick before we go over anything else. I wanted to point this out because I forgot to say this. Now you guys can see the mantle that the gun is coming through, that big piece of metal right there. I forgot to tell you that is not considered the part of the turret that's only 203 in the sense of the armor. To be honest with you, that is actually 254 millimeters thick. So it's pretty thick spot. So if you're going to try to pen this thing, if you got more than enough pen, you can shoot it on either side of the turret. But to be honest with you, see how much that thing is angled? I wouldn't even try it, to be honest with you. So of course the lower plate is a weak spot, but remember guys, just like the T110E4 or the T110E4, you're going to want to shoot about if you're looking at the lower plate right now, you can see there's like 2 little hook areas at the very bottom. They're going to be great to shoot at in the sense of how low you need to shoot. If you shoot any higher than those spots, you will ricochet, because the armor, the 254 armor, does actually go down underneath there a little bit. Now on these pictures, it doesn't show this as a weak spot, but it is. Now you can see right underneath the barrel, that's where they consider like where the driver sits, and you can't see the commander or the driver's hatch or viewport, but there is a viewport right underneath the barrel, pretty much. Well, just to the left of the barrel. You can kind of make it out. I don't know how it's going to look on the video, but there is a spot over there that he looks through, so you can shoot in that area and try to hit. But I'm going to tell you this, usually like nothing except like an FV183 is really going to hurt the front of this thing. There's a lot of tanks that have tried hurting me there, but majority of the time they had to shoot my lower plate, or like I said, the top of that hatch up there. Now you can see there's a pretty decent amount of gap between the turret and the hull. You could try shooting there. To be honest with you, I've very rarely ever gotten my turret damaged in that sense, like the turret ring. I have a very hard time ever getting hit there, so I would not suggest trying to hit there as a weak spot. Pretty much, if you're going head on with this tank, the lower plate's the best thing, and if you can't hit the lower plate, the next best thing is the very, very top, the commander's hatch. Now, on most pictures, you'll see that it's just showing like the back half of that commander's hatch as a weak spot, but to be honest with you, you can see there's a little gun right there, and supposedly that used to be a hard spot to hit. Like that little gun armor right there was enough to be able to block any rounds from coming through, but Wargaming has made the T110E4 like weak up there, so pretty much it's paper thin. Like you could shoot pretty much like a tier 7 at this tank at the very top and pen this thing. I think it's only like 100 maybe 100 meters or 100 millimeters thick, so it's not very thick at all, to be honest with you. It's very, very thin, so I don't understand why the T110E3 has a tougher top like that, but the T110E4 gets fucked over. No idea. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of the front, so let's move to the side and talk about that. Alrighty guys, so there's a lot of good spots to hit this tank. As you can see that the tracks are completely exposed. There's no spaced armor. So you're going to have a fun time being able to shoot this thing this side. So if you're driving this thing, don't give anybody your sides, which is pretty much the same thing for all tanks, except if you're in the mouse, which even the mouse will bounce off the side sometimes with certain vehicles. Of course, the front and rear tracks, or the wheels that are holding the tracks, the main wheels, those are good spots to hit to track this thing and also damage it. Depending on where you hit, as you can see on that front wheel, if I circle just to the right a little bit, the front wheel doesn't exactly hit the hole. Maybe from half of the wheel up is a good spot to hit if you can hit there, and that'll actually send your round through the wheel into the hole and actually damage this tank a little bit. If you shoot and it hits the bottom part of that wheel, it's not going to hurt the tank. Same thing as the back end. Now, if you're looking at the hole inside the tracks or in between the tracks, this first little area from half of the tank onto the front is the ammo storage area. That is a good spot if you want to ammo rack this thing. I've been hit there before, and it hurts. Let me tell you, getting this thing ammo racked sucks. And the back half of this is pretty much going to be the engine and everything, and that's a good spot to shoot if you want to, of course, take out the engine, catch this thing on fire, so on and so on. If you look at the turret, where the star is, there's a good little section if you look at the pictures that show weak areas there, and also same area in the front is going to be a weak spot. Pretty much you're going to be taking out like the gunner and the commander. The star is going to be like the commander, and in the front is going to be the gunner, and so forth. So that's pretty much it for the side. Moving to the rear. So on the rear, you could see, we usually don't spend too much time on the rear, but we're going to spend a little bit of time on the rear because you can see like the green area on the actual video itself. You can see it's all green, but in the picture it's red. And then you can see where the exhaust pipe is, it's green. Well, apparently, if you shoot the green area or the red area on the pictures, it's going to take out your engines. But if you shoot the exhaust pipe and you're like, why the hell didn't I hurt his engine or anything like that, it's because I guess Wargaming considers that as part of the whole, like, if a round goes through that exhaust pipe, it's going to go underneath the turret and actually hurt like the turret ring and stuff like that. So I guess that's why they consider that as a weak spot and not an engine weak spot, if you get what I'm saying. So if you want to take out the engine, try to get this thing demobilized and stuff like that, I suggest that you shoot actually in the green spots, or not the green spot, but in the red area, the engine area. So, and just to be honest with you guys, you need to remember this thing only can turn 180 degrees, so that means it can look all the way left and then all the way right, and that's it. It can't look behind itself. So if you can get behind this thing, it's a great opportunity to take the, kick this thing's ass. And I would recommend not shooting at the turret. Like I said, the turret has a decent amount of armor all the way around it, and as you can see, it's pretty rounded all the way around. So I would highly suggest just shooting this thing in the engine and taking it out that way. As we talked about, the commander's hatch on the top, as you can see, is all green, lit up, nasty spot to hit. Even though it's rounded, for some reason, this is like the magic spot to hit these tanks. Alright, so moving on to the right side and final side of this tank. It's a mirror image as the other side. Like I said, there's nothing different. You could shoot, like I said, the back half of the hull, and that'll take out the engine, the front side of the hull, and that's going to take, do ammo racking. If you shoot where the star is, you're going to take out the commander, and if you shoot in the front area, kind of where like that little, as you can see on the pictures, I'm not even going to try to figure out how to explain where this thing is, but if you look in the pictures, you could take out the gunner. Now, the other thing I want to mention on this is, on pretty much all the other tanks, you could see like a storage area in the top of the turret where there's some, ammunition, stuff like that. I would have to say there is ammunition up there because I've been shot in the turret and been ammo racked before in the turret. So I wouldn't say that the pictures are accurate. They're pretty close, but I would say there is ammo that's stored up there, unless for some reason it was an HE round and magically it hit my ammo too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but to be honest with you, I've been shot in the side by E100s and stuff like that, and I've actually had I've gotten ammo racked and stuff like that from getting shot in the side of the turret, not in the side of the hull, but the sides of the turret. Alrighty guys, so we're going to look at the packages real quick, which there are none, but I wanted to still talk about like, the rounds and everything like that. You can shoot about almost 3 rounds a minute, depending on your crew. You could pretty much get that to like 3.5 rounds a minute if you have a really experienced crew. I do have my crew from the T30 in this. I did max them out on this tank, so they still have the 6 cents and stuff like that. So they're good to go. Now, as we talked about, the penetration can vary, but it's about 295 with the just the regular standard rounds. 850 damage to about 1,000 something. We'll look at that when we get to the consumables. Now, the gold rounds or hash rounds, whatever you want to call them, 375, or not hash rounds, but yeah, gold rounds are 375 in penetration, 850 damage, and the HE round is 90 penetration to 1,100 in damage. Now, a lot of people sit there and say, oh, I'm just going to use gold rounds. It's a tier 10, why as well? There's no reason why not to. That's 375 penetration. I'll tell you this, 375 penetration is badass, but you're wasting so much money. Now, I don't mind using you know, the HESH rounds on the FV183 because that tank really is designed to use gold rounds. 295 penetration is more than enough penetration to take on a lot of tanks, as long as you know where the weak spots are. I mean, seriously, if you can't hurt somebody with 295 pen, and you have to use gold the entire time, you might as well just quit the game because you don't know what you're doing. 375 penetration, you know, from everything I've read up on, it's just overkill. It's a waste of money. You're not going to get the bang for your buck, okay? So, some people have said they might carry 1 or 2 just in case they need it for that rare instance, but to be honest with you, most of them have said they barely even use them. Like, it's very, very, very rare that they use one. And then the HE, even then, people might carry 2 or 3, they said. But they don't usually carry any more than that because the AP rounds do just enough. Because they're happy with the 850 damage or 900 damage. You know, they're happy with that. And I am too. I think it's overkill to use anything else. The aim time is about 2.90 seconds. It's not terrible. I wish it was a little bit quicker, but hey, once my crew gets up there, it'll get a little bit quicker, but it's not bad at all. Accuracy is 0.37. Wish it was better. A lot of people wish this was better, like 0.32, 0.33, but what are you gonna say? Wargaming. Alright, so now we're gonna look at the consumables. Right now, as I said, I use mostly armor piercing. I do have 10 rounds of high explosive, and that's just for safety measures, you know, for some reason. I don't even know why I even have them on there. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm actually going to change that to 22 armor piercing and 5 HE rounds, because to be honest with you, I don't even, yeah. Now, the round pricing, we usually don't talk about this, but 1,650 is not bad for the amount of damage and penetration you get with these, with this ammunition. Look at that, penetration 221 to 369. That's not bad for rolls. I mean, that's pretty fucking awesome. I've never rolled a 638 on this standard armor piercing. I've always rolled about 700. My average is 800 on up. But I have rolled a 700, but never as low as 638. So that's why I'm happy with it. 800 damage on a E100 is beautiful. That's amazing. That means either 1 more hit or 2 more hits is going to kill him. That's great. That's fine with me. Like I said, the rounds aren't that expensive. But if we look at the gold rounds, say we did the gold rounds, 5,000 a piece. Just for over penetrating somebody. That's it. That's so you can sit there in the back and be like, oh, I penetrated an E100 here and here and here. Fuck that. They ain't worth it. Especially if you're going to be using this tank all the time. Like my FV, I would use that all the time if I didn't have to use gold rounds, but I do. So this is going to be really my main tank destroyer other than my Waffle E100. But really, be honest with you, I've actually liked this more than the Waffle E100. I like the Waffle, but this one's shorter to the ground. It's less, you know, the profile is shorter than the Waffle E100 or the Waffentrager off E100. So I really like this tank. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, right now, as the equipment that I'm using is a large caliber tank gun rammer, and then the enhanced gun laying drive. Now, the other thing I thought about getting, and I haven't done it yet, is maybe coated optics, maybe, or binoculars. I haven't figured out what I want to use yet. Probably binoculars, because I have seen myself stop a lot more and sit in a position than keep moving, which I would use mostly with coated optics. But binoculars wouldn't be bad to have. I might buy that and put that on, but I haven't decided yet. I'm still testing out the tank on what I like. You could do improved ventilation, but to be honest with you, at this point in the game, you're already at tier 10. Unless you want to just upgrade the crew the rest of the way really quickly, I don't see what the purpose would be. To be honest with you, none of these really apply. The ammo racking I get here and there, but that's usually by the time I'm about to be killed. The rest of this, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think everything else is just a waste. Toolbox is a good thing to have. So between, you know, just these three. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Those would be ideal for me if I was going to pick anything else. Camouflage net, to be honest with you, you really have no camo with this tank. It's shit. So there's no reason to even put a camouflage net on. Alrighty guys, we're on Kamaran Standard Battle. We've got tier 10s and tier 9s. And wow, they have a tier 8 and tier 7. That sucks for them. Last game this happened. Alright, hopefully we could do really good on this. But as I was saying, you know, like I said, there's not a lot of history to this tank. I don't know how far they got into the project of this. Like, I've seen drawings of this tank, you know, sketches, blueprints, but nothing, you know, no models or anything like that. So I think Wargaming, like I said, just wanted to make a tank just to have one kind of thing. Like, have something else for the TD line. I love this tank. I just hate that commander's hatch. I really wish Wargaming would stop fucking with tanks. You know, if a tank looks just like the other one, except the only difference is maybe how the turret moves. Why would you fuck with the commander's hatch? It's the same fucking thing. Like, what would make a rotating turret fuck up the commander's hatch? I don't know. I really don't know. M103. Ugh, there's a fucking outhouse. Of course, I'm spotted. Shit. Someone's gonna shoot at me. Yep. If I had a chance to shoot at your ass, I would. Come on. Yeah! M103 is probably like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm almost dead! Miss Piggy! Yeah, that's right. Ah, fuck me. Of course. Fucking waffle. I'll give you something to fucking shoot at, you little piece of crap. Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there. Fuck me. I should have taken the shot. He's gonna die anyways, that piece of shit. God. A lot of people have been doing that lately, like just staying in the open and fucking shooting from that little bridge. It pisses me off sometimes. It really does. Of course, I'm lit up again. I'm detected again. That's awesome. T110E4 didn't get shot at. I got shot at. God forbid. Jesus Christ. Look. Commander's hatch. Same fucking thing as me. Same fucking thing as me. There's no difference. None whatsoever. Ugh. Who the hell is shooting this guy? That's what I want to know. Because it looks like he was getting shot from the left over there. You know, fuck it. There we go. I know there was a 50-50 chance of me actually penning that front upper area. And I got it. I mean, I told you guys, this thing has a lot of penetration. And it's a nasty fucking gun. But sometimes there is that 50-50 you have to worry about. Oh man, we are mopping them up so bad. And let's fall into the water and kill ourselves. Of course, that guy's going to be dick to the T110E3 because he's like, hey, since you did your job, I'm going to take over now. There's no one that can get me, okay? I'm going to go kill everybody now. Yeah, go fuck yourself, dude. That's what I hate. A lot of these guys are like, hey, guys, go in front of me. I really want you to help me take care of these guys. And then you go and do it, and then they're like, oh, fuck you. I've got this. I can do it all on my own. Yeah, go fuck yourselves. That's why I like let some of these guys go in front of me. Because they're like, you do all the work, and then they do nothing. They just get shot at and then killed, and then they complain that you didn't do anything to help them. No dip. No fucking dip. This could be a terrible game for me too. God. I've won every game today so far. But I'm getting terrible fucking, like, results. I mean, I'm still making over 1,000 experience points. But, yeah. Not doing good in the sense of getting some good damage in there. Well, hopefully you guys are doing pretty good this weekend. I know there's a special ops. Kill any German vehicle, get 500 XP up to 5 times a day. And then the same thing if you're a German tank. You can kill American or Allied tanks, which they are considering just the... come on. Ah, fuck. Fuck me. Alright. Get my reload in. Come on. That mouse is killing some people. But I just ended his life. Ha! Go fuck yourself. Boop! Alright, 22,000 in silver, 1,976 in experience points, and we're coming near the bottom. Jesus fucking Christ, this is worse than the last one. Alrighty guys, that's it for now. I know I didn't do a lot of damage, but you know what? I got to show off the points that this thing can do some nasty damage. It could penetrate a lot. I just didn't get the opportunities that I really wanted in the game. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the last one for this line. Woo! We're going to be going off to the new French Arty. I'm already working my way over to that. I've only got enough experience points to start working on that line. It's going to be a fun line to work down. I can't wait. I'm very excited about that. Also, we're still finishing up the AMX 50B. Got to get there. We're on the AMX 5120. And I'm going to be hitting that hard soon too. I will be live streaming tonight. I don't know exactly when, but I will be doing it for a couple hours tonight. Tomorrow, remember guys, if you are part of the subscriber party, please be on time. Get on like 15 minutes beforehand. If you haven't received an email from me, that means you didn't make it, guys. It is completely full. It was full on the first day I put up the subscriber party invite video. So yeah, it's full. So anyways guys, I'm WizardKen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, helps me out a lot. Any new subscribers, thank you guys, welcome. And of course, all you old subscribers, thank you again for being around and helping and supporting me. I love you guys. I'm WizardKen. See ya.